I'm late. I'm late. I'm so sorry. I'm late. Sorry about that. I apologize. I was late. I was knocking things over as I was doing my 1 minute countdown. Usually I'm sitting here at the desk when my 1 minute timer goes off and I was out of the room. All right. Like, very nice. Thank you, back channel. Hey, well, it's Friday. It is Friday, November 5th. It's November, for goodness sake. And this is Pi Day Friday, and we're working. So pleased to know it, to see it, to hear it. And lots of people checking in already. Thank you very much. I know why you're here. Day two of, or part two of Pi Day Friday. And today we make it work. And it's so easy. It was so challenging to find out how easy it can be. But now we've got it handled. We're looking for it. Hey, so good afternoon. It is Friday, 11:05 in US terms. I am David Rush. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars. This is a Mike Myers channel, Mike Myers presentation, a Total Seminars presentation. I got enough adjectives in there to describe it accurately. We get together once a week, every Friday at 2 o'clock Central Time, whether it's Central Daylight Time or Central Standard Time, whatever it is. This week, last week of Central Daylight Time, we changed time zones this weekend, or changed time systems this weekend from daylight savings to regular time. That means we fall back. So if you fall back anywhere else in the world, you know, it's going to be same time for you that it's always been. If you don't change clocks this weekend, you're staying what you are, then my show is going to be on an hour later for you than usual. So if it's 10 p.m. your time, show's going to be on at 11 p.m. your time. Sorry about that. But I have no control over these things. So I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars. I don't do much instruction these days, but stuff is coming back up. We got a job slated up in January, and I think I got a job in January. Scott's going to go do one in January because we can't both do them at the same time with each other. And so the world is picking up. Scott Jernigan is here with me. He is the senior editor at Total Seminars. He has a whole bank of editors working for him these days now. So, being senior instructor is kind of, one thing, except I have no junior instructors underneath me. So I am the instructor, though, again, Scott and Mike certainly can and do instruct. But if we ever get a junior instructor, I will be his boss or her boss. And Scott, used to be a senior editor without any other sub-editors, or I was always kind of somebody, but now he's got Andrew Hutz, who says, I'm here if you need, and glad to hear it. And there's other editors within the company. So Scott is having a great time editing and managing his editors. So kudos to him. The book is in the final stages for the N10008 book. The video course has been shot and it's being edited, as far as video type editing goes, adding banners and cutting it all together, and let's move this one out of his and move it into that, but you get the idea. So we are having some kind of fun. We get together every Friday at 2 o'clock, whatever time it is where I am. We kill about an hour shooting the breeze, answering questions, any topic, Comptia, technology. If it ain't religion and it ain't politics, then I'm very happy to talk about it to the best of my ability. The back channel is listening and watching on the front channel. They're researching answers to help out. Sometimes they answer the questions themselves, and it's great when they do that. So please, this is drama. This is Dave Rush, Ask Me Anything. And so I encourage you to ask me anything. And if you don't want to do that or can't do that here on this YouTube live forum, there are other ways to do that. Probably there are. Share screen, click this. You can contact me. You can contact Scott. I still haven't updated this sheet to include Andrew. I apologize, Andrew. Smack me. I will have that done before the holidays. But you can send me an email, daver@totalsem.com, or use my personal email. One or the other. Don't use both. They contact each other, and if they keep doing that, they'll turn into a black hole. But drushtx at Yahoo, Scott Jernigan, our senior editor, Scott J at totalsem.com. You can talk to Mike Myers himself personally. There's other contact information on this page. And if you're curious and need it, pause your screens at this time when you watch it on the archive and write down what you need, and you will have ways to contact us. See, I'm trying to find ways to make these presentations more quicker and more efficient. Oh my. There's a lot going on here. This is going to be a fun day. Man, it's going to be a fun day. All right, so Scott's working the back channel. He's talking to me. He's providing information and researching and posting stuff for me. So is Andrew Hutz, former participant here as a student, I guess, or as a viewer on Discord and on YouTube channel. He has joined our organization as one of the editors and whatever other tasks that Scott has him doing. So very exciting. Thank you both guys for working in the background on today. Cannot wait until this book is done and we can get you guys alternately, maybe as a three-way. That's a really poor choice of terms, isn't it? But get the three of us on here together and do kind of a roundtable. That'd be a ton of fun. And looking forward to that. If you're tracking, oh, here's my problem here. What is this? If I need, okay. Wow, that came in late. I know, I'm looking down here. Stand by. I'll get a thing going where I can look up more toward camera, but all my notes are down here. Now, let me drag them up closer to the top corner of the screen so I can see a little more. If you keep track of these things, this is episode number 66 of AMA, of drama rather. And it's Total Seminars, and many thanks to Mike Myers. Mike Myers does his show on the same channel every week, 2 o'clock local time. Monday at 2 o'clock and Wednesday 2 o'clock. Been joined frequently and regularly lately by Scott Jernigan. So they've been, man, that's a show. If you have never watched Mike Myers' AMA show on his Monday and Wednesday, it's about an hour instead of a 2 hour because their schedules just keep them hammered. But man, watch that. You will not see a better techno Q&A stuff online today. I know these guys intimately, and I just enjoy it. If I didn't have to work while I was doing these things at the same time, doing my back channel thing and some other tasks, I would just sit here and laugh and smile and probably post questions. Reading stuff. So yeah, ask questions, please. Let's do this one, get this out of the way. Weekly specials. We still have weekly specials. This week is a weird one, not the special itself, but the code to take advantage of that. It's very confusing. So let me put it up here and see if we can explain that to you. So this is a discount only available to those of you who join us on the AMAs. And if you're catching this, next week or next year, it will have expired. They are good Monday through Sunday, and then we change them for the following week. Next Monday, it's going to be a different code and possibly a different special. But this week's specials, it's the same special as last week, I believe. It's e-bundles at 50% off. So e-bundles are comprised of an ebook and a total tester. It's online total tester. It's practice test questions, and they have to be linked together. So we've got a bundle for A+. There's an ebook and total tester for A+, and same for Net Plus and Security Plus and Cybersecurity Analyst Plus and Pen Test Plus and AWS Systems Architecture Associate. There's no plus on that one. All you got to do is go to www.totalsem.com. You can even drop the W's. Load up your loot bag. Okay, there it is. Even just reading it. The code to take advantage of the 50% off discount is the word FIRST, F-I-R-S-T, all lowercase. And that's good through November 7th. Anything else that I want to put up here while I've got this thing up and running? I already posted. I posted that discount link just before the show started, so you can copy paste it off of there. And let me get this one out of the way while I'm at it here. There is an unofficial Total Seminars Discord channel. It was set up by our good friend Jose Braden. I just checked. It was just over 9 months ago. In just over 9 months, we are, as of yesterday, a person shy of 470 users. I don't know what the right term is for Discorders. How's that? Discordant people. And we would like you to join us on there. We get together with mics and cameras after these AMAs, after mics and after mines, and sometimes impromptu. And then of course it's a text forum all over the place, people on there 24 hours a day with all kinds of expertise. Join us at this link, discord.gg. This stuff it's case sensitive, and I posted that just before the show started. We'll post it again a little later in the show. Here's an alternate one. If you use either of these and it says the link has expired, don't worry about it. Just keep looking around on that page for a link that allows you to continue anyway, and you will succeed and join us. And so we look forward to that. Last week, we did an online costume contest party after my Friday show. And I'm going to show you the pictures of that. And there were winners. The grand prize winner won a Raspberry Pi kit. And there was some of the cool second and third place prizes. So it's a good thing to hang out here, to get links, to learn about the topics, and then to join us on Discord, just because it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great people there. Okay, now what happened? Oh, there it is. Okay. Reading my stuff. So my weekly reminder, we're due a project every week. I think there's only 2 times in the history of the show that we didn't do a project for good reasons, whatever they were. And I envision one of those happening also toward the end of the year, because we got the holidays coming up, and Fridays are both right beside one of the 3 holidays. We got Christmas, we got Thanksgiving in the US, and we've got New Year's, and Christmas and New Year's are both on Saturday. So going to decide what we're going to do about a show. I'm going to do a show. I'm not going out of town that I know of. So my plan is to do a show, but I probably won't do a project that day. We'll probably just get together for an hour or so, do Q&A, and then everybody return to your families. But we'll see. That's up in the air for the moment. At any rate, my weekly reminder. So we do a project every week, and some projects can be done on any kind of computer in the world as long as you're running a Linux distro on it. And some are tied very specifically to the Raspberry Pi, which is, of course, the focus of our show here, using the Raspberry Pi as a study aid, as a fun tool, as a practical tool. A lot of good stuff with that. So we're doing Retropie. Retropie was written for and has not been ported to any other computer other than Raspberry Pi. So this week's project, you got to have a Raspberry Pi. Now, 2 weeks ago, we did how to install Retropie on a Raspberry Pi. I'm not going to repeat any of that. Go catch the show 2 weeks ago if you missed it. It starts about the second hour of the show at 3 o'clock my time. This week, we're going to, it's useless installed. There's no games that come with it. And so you got to install games. And I kind of understand why, and we'll talk about that. And so we're going to show you this week how to install and play games on it. It's fun. I've been beating the heck out of Miss Pac-Man this week. Last thing, and then I'll start answering questions. Every week, I create a set of documents to do this show, an outline of what I'm going to talk about and who to thank and millions of other things. And I make pictures and I make PDFs and. And so when I got the show all ready to go in the can, and I said, all right, that's the last change. This is what we're going to do today. I take all those documents and I bundle them up in a zip file, and I put them on a web server that you can access and download. So if you want to see this stuff in not real time, you don't want to pause the show, you just want to follow along or read my notes and whatever, you can do that. Just go to, with one of you guys be kind enough in the back channel to post the PyR² FQDN. I got a server that I fire up on Pi Day Fridays and other days on request. Just send me an email or catch me on Discord or whatever and say, Dave, bring your server up and I want to download. And you'll find it at PyR², PIR_SQUARE.zapto, ZAPTO.org. And you'll find a download link there. It'll take you to the download page, and every document that I've ever done, every show that I've ever done that had a project has downloadable zip documents in there. And I invite you to enjoy them all. Many thanks. Back channel says, Scott, in fact, has posted it at 2:14 twice. All right. So click on them both and open up 2 different windows. All right, let's see who has joined the fray. Ooh, I had the thing in real time. I was scrolling all over the place. Siegfried popped in very early at 30 minutes before showtime. Siegfried, I apologize to you again. I did this in text yesterday on Discord. I feel really awful. Siegfried found a piece of information that was very useful to Total Seminars and to our publisher. But given the projects that he's been working on lately, I kind of misconstrued what he did and how he found it. And I kind of chastised him a little bit, said, hey, you know, you shouldn't use that powerful skill that you have to go do this. And he smacked me, rightly so. And he said, I didn't do that. I just found a website. Oh, okay. So I apologize for totally scrooching that up, Siegfried. We do appreciate it. And I did send that to the appropriate folks this very morning. So thank you. I didn't even get a thank you from them, but I know that they're very appreciative because of what I described to you yesterday will happen. I will keep an eye on that over the ensuing days and weeks, and you do the same. And I will bet you dollars to donuts that within 6 weeks and probably less, it will disappear. Hello, it good greetings, percent login name. You have to be an old Novellian to know what that means. Sorry. It's good greeting time, percent login. Good percent greeting time, percent login name. It was an old programmatic greeting on a login script. So whenever you logged in, it would look at it at the time of day and say, good morning, and then login name, whatever it is. Raymond Quick. It's been slow today, so I've spent most of the day automating a task that I almost never have to do and would have taken far less time to do manually. Yeah, this time, but automating tasks is absolutely critical. I did the same thing with 2 tasks today myself. It took a handful of time to do it, but next time, click, click, done. And by the way, I'm reading off timestamps on here. If you will click where it says live chat and change it, first of all, or top chat to live chat, you won't get any filtering. And then over on the right-hand side, the 3 vertical kebab buttons, you can click that and toggle your timestamps on. You'll know where I'm at if I'm ahead of or behind your question. And if I miss your question, post it again or remind Scott or remind Andrew. All right. If you want to post and get our attention on here, @ or #, and then just start typing in the name that you see in the YouTube thing here. So if you type in #Dave, D-A-V-E, that's not going to get my attention. But if you start typing #David, you'll see it'll automatically fill in as David Rush, and then you just keep filling in your message, and I'll get a nice bright banner on there. You won't see it. You will see them if somebody types a message like that to you. All right, so about 10 minutes before the show, I posted 3 links. The Discord link, I'm going to be on there today for a little bit afterward. Posted the specials for today and posted the basis of the tutorial that we're going to use today. I took pieces and chunks from that and fixed the major typo in it that will make it not work, and pulled out the stuff we don't need to talk about. But there's cool stuff in there, and if you want to follow along for real and do total soup to nuts, how to install games and the guy's got a fairly good tutorial. Just watch what I'm going to do in here to fix the one problem that he made or typoed. I don't know what he did, but he didn't fix it. Alan Duggan's here at 1:52, and people greeting each other. Greetings. If I don't see my name on it, if I see somebody else's @name in the thing, I just ignore it. Hopefully I can do that with Tolowitz. Okay, we're going to finalize an overly complicated. Oh no, an overly complicated script. Okay. And Scott welcomes everybody at 3 minutes till the hour, because he always does. That's good stuff. Very consistent. Patricia Grace talking to Raymond, making the nerd world go round. Carry on. Ping is here. Hello. Nice to see you, Ping. And we have seen you before, as is Alucard, one of our winners. Alucard won a Comptia voucher. I'm pretty sure. Now I don't have a list in front of me, but I know he's won stuff in the past. I'm pretty sure he won a voucher. And we will be giving away a free Comptia voucher to any Comptia exam that makes your little heart go pitter patter today toward the end of the show. Stick around. It'll be a little simple contest, a lot of fun, and somebody's going to win. If you won in the past, won a voucher in the past, you can't win again yet. We're trying to spread it around a little bit so we get some newcomers and lots of different folks. Well, once we get a lot of people who, and there's not much chance of new folks and different folks winning, then we'll look at opening it up to winning second vouchers and things like that. But for today, if you've already won a voucher, you can play. You just gotta pass. That's it. Avanut's here. Hello. And Matthew Patrick is here. Good evening, all. Nice to see you, Matthew. My first Pi Day Friday. Welcome, Kylie. Kylie Powder was a very recent winner. You won a voucher. I have your information. By the way, if you win a voucher today, I need your information today. I'm supposed to send all of the winners from the week. Mike does 2 winners a week. I do 1 winner a week, and I've got one that's piled up from last week. I'm supposed to send them to Comptia every Friday. So if you win today, I hope you do. You got to send me the stuff that I'm going to tell you how to send and what to send. And then I'll submit everybody who won this week to Comptia. So if you haven't heard from Comptia and you won this week, that's why. Oh, goodness. Good to see you again, Kylie. Patricia Grace. Well, there's pure science and there's applied science and there's nerd world. Ding, Raymond, lots of back and forth communications. Hello, Abu Bakar. Nice to see you. Shalom alaikum. Shalom. I always do that. Shalom alaikum, Habibi. Because I lived there for years. Trisha Grace. Scott, that's me. It is. And Andrew, that's you. That is JM. What's your favorite firewall provider for personal use? And what do you think of next generational firewalls? Okay, for personal use, I am absolutely satisfied in my Windows machine. Excuse me, with the Windows Advanced Firewall. On my Linux machines, I like both UFW and the other one that I actually use more frequently and can't think of. Apologies, it'll come to me as we drag on here. What I think of next generation firewalls, I think they're good. You know, technology advances, it gets better, smarter, stronger. We're seeing more and more artificial intelligence being added to firewalls. And, you know, as with everything, there's always the Skynet potential. It becomes aware and starts to make its own decisions. But for the moment, good stuff. Sonic. I like Sonic firewalls. I like Cisco firewalls, of course, as far as that kind of stuff goes. See, there's a Telewit that I managed to read in advance before I read about it. But yes, thank you. You can be my Huckleberry. Don't sit under my apple tree. No, is it don't or come sit? Whatever. N10008 new Comptia Network Plus exam. Thank you, Scott. I know I just kind of throw these things out like everybody knows what I'm talking about. Scott Wolf is here. First time joining this live stream. Good to see you here. We've seen you a number of times, and I have you as a winner on one of my lists of things won. I keep 2 lists of the stuff that people win Total Tester on Mike's show, and they win Comptia's on here. Oh, I think you won on my show. No, first time joining, you couldn't have. Okay. Henry D. Heavy D. Where am I getting that heavy? Matthew Patrick, I have my A+, going to get my Net Plus next. What would you recommend after server? What would you recommend? I assume there's a comma there. What would you recommend after Server Plus, Linux Plus, or Sec Plus to get a job? Those 2 things are enough to get a job. What you want to do at this point is get a job. Ideally in an organization that leads to a career that requires you to study Server Plus, Linux Plus, Security Plus. Now let's talk about Security Plus for a second. Security Plus is an overview course. It doesn't make you or show that you have expertise in anything. It is an opportunity for you to explore aspects of security. There's network security, there's physical security, there's personnel management and management security, facilities security, all kinds of there's fire security in there, for goodness sake. So Comptia and all of its members organizations have created this to expose you to all kinds of pieces of security with the intent of you saying, you know what, I liked that thing. I liked cybersec. I like dealing with keeping websites secure. I like making sure that personnel aren't stealing my stuff, whatever. And then you pursue a job and or certifications, but don't pursue certifications to get jobs. You have enough certifications. Once you've got a job, now you pursue them in the off time, hopefully it's a certification that your employer pays for. All the major name employers will do additional education payments. My missus just joined a fairly small company, and they said, you got to take some kind of course, and preferably one in your area. So, okay, she signed up for a Udemy course that uses some office productivity software that she has to use every day. And so, but now the other approach to your question says, if you were going to do this, I'm just pursuing a pile of certs, and when I get enough of them, I will be the perfect candidate for this job. That doesn't work. But let's say you were going to, that's your mindset. Well, you pick your job. What do you want to do first? Do you want to administer Linux systems? Then Linux system is your approach. Do you want to administer Windows servers? Then Server Plus is your approach. So those are the two answers. What are you drinking? I am drinking the same stuff that I do every show. It's iced tea with sugar, ice, and lemon in it. All right, reading questions here. At least that's what I admit to what I'm drinking. How's that? Scott also posted the special deals at 2:08 p.m. Again, that code is the word first. Stop wonking at me. Catherine is here. You're in the big leagues, says Catherine to Andrew. Very nice. Yes, he is. This is a great company to work for, man. I've been here over 10 years. I'll hit my 11th anniversary here in a couple of months, and I have loved every minute of it. Raymond Quick at 2:08. What is your thoughts on Comptia's Linux Plus program? I am slowly studying for it, but keep getting distracted. I love the certification. I love the objectives that it calls for. I too am working on Linux Plus. I have been living a Debian mindset for 10 years, longer than that, and have ignored all of the other distros. You've got to know other distros and other pieces of it as you pursue this. And I've really enjoyed how much that's opened my mind. Now, the answer, what do I do to keep from getting distracted? Install it, use it. Everything that you learn, stop and go to your Linux box and use it and experiment with it and try this switch and try that switch. And it will help solidify it, helps keeps it interesting. If you're still bored with it, then you miss something or it's not available, stop, go off and do research. Why is this useful in the real world? Who uses this? Check the Reddit forums, check the Linux forums. It's good stuff. I am very much in favor. We want to do a Linux Plus course, a couple of us here. At different levels, there are different reasons to do it and not to do it. I was given some information some months back that we were going to, that I'm not sure even Mike was aware of, because people ask him, "Are you going to do this?" And he says no, and that's contrary to the information that I got from another direction. So I'll try and nail that down in the next week or so, and see if I can get something firm from the organization within our organization that says they're going to do it. If they do, I want to have my hand in that real hard, as you may expect. Reading questions, passing 209. JM, are AWS certifications only for advanced level IT professionals, or could an A+ certified get into AWS? An A+ certified can certainly get into AWS. There are tons of AWS administrative administrator and supporters and things like that. There's Entry Cloud is the way to start into that, and then you move into AWS. So I would take a look at Cloud Plus in Comptia land, and then look into the first level. I don't have all the A+ courses in my head. I know the one that we have online, and that's probably not entry level, but you can look in Udemy and just look under total seminars, and you'll find all the courses that we have, and you'll find, I think we have 2 AWS courses. There's certainly one. But yes, you can get into cloud stuff, cloud certifications, basic entry-level cloud certifications with an A+ background. In fact, you won't even need much of the A+ background. I think there are probably folks at the college level who are doing this without Net Plus and Security Plus. Security Plus, I think, is probably something fairly useful. The A+ stuff is good because you get exposure to the cloud technologies, the three major platforms, the PAS, the IAS, the SAS. But yeah, I believe that can be done. Crazy Homebody Girl, my girl, nice to see you. Andre is here watching the steam, building Legos. Yeah, my man. Discord link, Scott posted at 211. We're not on 12, 211 in progress. See the man, Scott Jernigan. Oh, somebody better get that. That's just too good. And 211 was correct on that. JM, I read that some accounts in the Discord platform are getting hacked. How can I protect myself against that? Okay, I read that same thing. No, accounts are not getting hacked. The Discord CDN, the content delivery network, is being hacked as a distribution network for malware. So I followed up with somebody on that who posted the article. They weren't aware, so I went digging myself, and I did not find that individual accounts are being hacked. If you ever worry about your account being hacked, though, it's the same answer. Good anti-malware, good preventative measures. Make sure that your anti-malware watches inbound for viri, it watches for attachments, watches for websites, watches and all the data that streams in your computer. Strong passwords. It's all common sense at the residential user level. Okay, Raymond, be right back. It's 2:11. You're when you wrote that, you're probably already back. And I super scrolled here. There we go. It's not too far. I'm about close to caught up here. No Discord this afternoon. Got a friend from the mainland coming in. Very good. Loco Mocos. You'll be driving. Okay. Have your friend drive and you watch on your phone. Kylie Powder, I wrote my in-class exam for ITF and got 96% on the final. Now I just have to write my certification test. Thanks for helping answering my questions at Total Seminars. Congratulations. Best of luck on the cert test. Joey Quetzal's here. Good to be here. Yeah, there's the Pi R Square server at 214, 2 times. Jeremy Parker, hey, Scott Jernigan, the Discord link expired. The one that I posted was current as of this morning. Let me, Scott, would you go, or Andrew, go make sure that we have a current Discord invite link and post that just in case. Thanks, guys. But there should be something, Jeremy, on that page where it says link is expired that allows you to continue anyway. Lots of people have done that. Click it anyways, Jeremy Parker says, Scott, there we go. Discord links always seem to be expired. Okay. Never mind. It's all solved. Reading questions. Passing 218. Jeremy Parker, okay, is it pitter patter in fear or excitement? Yeah. You know, whatever makes your heart go pitter patter, probably a little bit of both. Pi Guru is on. Yeah, I am. I don't call myself a guru. I don't know that much about it. But I do play with it every day. I learn more every day. So I consider myself a Pi specialist. What? I'm emailing Mike. Okay. Karen, shame on you. Speaking of Karen, I got 23 people online, which is a good turnout for our show. Please give me some thumbs up action. It helps other people find these shows. Thank you. We don't monetize it. I don't get anything out of it, I suppose. Look, honey, I got 8 thumbs up on my show. I can. Yeah, was the old World War II era song. Yes, I was. I do the Andrews sisters. I can do all 3. I should learn their names. They actually come up in conversation more often than you would think. 226 JM, is it true that to get a job in cybersecurity, you need a lot of IT experience? And also, is it true that jobs in cybersecurity will decrease in the future due to automation? That question comes up all the time. I'll answer part 2 first. No, it isn't. In our opinion, everybody here, does not believe that automation will reduce jobs in cybersec. Computers are not generating securities. Computers are used to hack security, artificial intelligence and so forth, but humans are the ones who are creative and who are coming up with new and better ways to implement security and to create the programs and processes that are used to hack security, that are used to defend secure systems. So no. Now, do you need lots of experience to get an IT job? Well, okay, so there's the syntax issue, an IT job or an IT security. No, you don't need a lot of experience. You're not going to get hired as the senior vice president of security at Megacorp Bank with little or no experience. You're going to have to join an entry-level job that's got its fingers in security. But you're going to learn from there, and you're going to move up from there, and maybe you're going to move on from there. So no, you can't have a senior job. People who walk out with a degree in cybersec and 1 or 2 good certificates don't get hired beyond mid-level. They start upper entry level, lower mid-level, and go from there. So, and of course, the more experience that you have, the better you're going to do. We're watching people here who have joined Mike's AMAs and my AMAs who, when they first joined us, had little or no background. They're users, and they've gone through A+, and some of them have gotten jobs right after that. Entry-level support jobs, it's a very common way to go in. And I have watched a number of people spend 4, 6, 7 months in those jobs and move up and move up. And I know at least 2 people in here who are now managers of IT support departments, at least one of whom has even moved companies. He did this, and he moved up, and he moved up. And then another company said, come on over here, be our manager of that kind of stuff. So it happens quickly. You gather the experience, and you gather more education and information as you do these entry-level jobs. But no, you can't start out as the vice president of technology. Sunny Mango, thank you for that information regarding next steps of work and search. Sure thing. Scroll, there we go. Jeremy Parker, so question, Dave Rush. I just got my Pi 4 a month or so ago, trying to put my domain on the Pi web server, but I seem to not have incoming traffic. What can I do? Okay, so you've got a Raspberry Pi sitting here. We'll pretend this is a Raspberry Pi. Plug here into your home network. It can reach out to the outside world, just as your computer does when you web serve, and just as everything else that you do that calls out. Nothing can call into your home, into your site. Why? Because your router, your NAT router, says, nope, no inbound traffic. What you have to do is open up, or what they call port forward, port 80 and or port 443 to allow inbound traffic. Now, if you do that and you don't have a domain name set up, then you're going to have to give them your public IP address. If you want traffic to come in via a domain name, you are going to have to register with a DDNS provider, a dynamic DNS provider. You'll get a domain name from them. And as part of that registration process, you're going to give them the public IP address of your router, of the IP address that your ISP gives you, your public IP address. And they will then link that name that you've registered with, and you're going to pick one from them. You're going to get a domain from them. Well, like my server, I got pirsquare.zapto.org. So I'm using a DDNS provider. I think it's called No IP. And I picked the first word of the fully qualified domain name, pirsquare, and I gave them that address. And then I port forward my router every time I want to open up my server to the public. And it's always constantly redirecting. Whenever anybody goes to pirsquare.zapto.org, it sends that message to my router. If I don't have my router port forwarding at that time, they get unable to connect error messages. When I open it up on Friday morning or Thursday night and close it down on Saturday morning, the stuff comes through. I don't leave it run 24 hours because running a web server at home is a security risk. There's a lot of security that you have to set up in addition to just web server security to keep people from getting in and therefore accessing the rest of your home network. So I run that risk for a little bit of a time. I have been studying for quite some time on methods and tools to make that secure enough for me to keep it open 24 hours. I'm not there yet, but I do have a number of features set up. But bottom line is I think that you need to register a domain if you haven't already, and then port forward whenever you want people to be able to access your internal web server. Overwatch at 2:30. How complicated is it to reconnect to a domain network after resetting a PC? Not complicated at all. You just set your logon settings to be domain instead of work group. Specify the domain, put in the account, log in, and it'll remember the domain the next time you log in. Quick Google, how to log into a domain from Windows. And there's 47,000 tutorials out there, and it's just, 4 steps. It's very easy stuff. Question mark asked. Nobody answered quick enough, huh? Watch. Hope this helps. I am 21 minutes behind. Sorry about that. So anyone knows what I'm gonna do? Yeah. I was the AWS Tolowit at 2:31. I was the AWS Tag Team Championship. God, that's what I get for not reading first. Macho, man. Oh, almost everybody's gone. Yeah, thank you, Scott, for my 211. Kylie Powder, my cat is named after Randy Savage. Sadly, he's a wimp. That's sad. Ping, you can make the link last forever. I'm not sure where that's tied to, but if it answers somebody's question, cool bananas. Does this voucher work for CEH? Yes, these vouchers are good for everything except CYSA. For whatever reason, Comptia has told us they can't be used for that, but yes, for every other Comptia testable thing. Oh, wait a minute, CEH, that's not a Comptia test. That's EC Council. So no, not for CEH. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, with an ops in Discord. Okay. Jeremy Parker, I'll be in the Linux courses. I've done fundamental from Linux Foundation. Okay. Cool. I scrolled, sorry. Steady Shark is here. Okay, Andrew posted a fresh link to join our Discord server at 2:34. Thank you, Andrew. I missed out on pro wrestling references. No, you didn't. That was the first one. Kylie Powder didn't make it go red. Okay, reading. That's okay if your own name goes red, right? Passing 2:37. A lot of back and forth conversation between each other. At 2:38, ping. Are there ways to get experience other than a job? Maybe doing projects. Of course, doing projects. Doing volunteer work, helping with the family, volunteering over at the local school system. Internships is what it all comes down to. Some people are very happy at working with your religious organization if you have an affiliation there. There are some people who kind of disagree with providing free services. I don't think they're free. I think that you get value from the educational experience coming from those. So sure. Ping, if you are on the on our Discord server, I posted a link 5 days ago from some recruiters who are posting useful, helpful information on LinkedIn. And these are Google recruiters. And they were saying, here's what we like to see and what we expect to see for people who haven't been employed and are getting experience that way. Here are other ways to show and to get experience that's not based on employment. All right, I'm going to leave the wrestling conversations to be amongst yourselves. Andre, I was a novice user 20 months ago. Right, Andre is one of those people. Andre was a truck driver before he started playing in this arena. And now he's got a job. He's in school to get more. He's got certifications. He's passing tests. He's got a Raspberry Pi. He hasn't got it yet, but he won one the other day. So yeah, he started learning A+ with Mike. He learned a lot, got certified, working as a help desk while he's getting an IT degree. So absolutely. Scott answered Joey's question, same as me. JM, is there a way to disable my USB ports on my laptop for security purposes? Yes. Go into your BIOS or your UEFI settings. Just boot up, hit the delete key or the F12 key or whatever key is appropriate for yours to get into BIOS, and you can disable your USB ports. Not only will that make your system secure, it'll make it impossible for you to use to extract information, to put information in, to add your USB printer, to add your USB external storage device. And there's trade-offs, right? You turn off your USB port, it becomes secure. So secure that you can't use it yourself. Now, what are you looking to secure yourself against? Okay, who is coming in via your USB ports? Is it because you think you have viruses on your flash drive or on your external drive? Is it because you're concerned about the network interface that you have plugged into a USB? Well, you run the same risk if you're using an internal Wi-Fi card or a wired card. So curious what you're trying to protect yourself from by disabling USB. Kylie's talking to Ping 239. Ping's talking to Andre and Kyle, and Tulowitz talking to JM. Love all this stuff. It gets me moving on here because I got cool stuff to do here, and we want to get doing on it. Carla Rain is here, checking in with Kylie. Kylie, if I can, okay. JM, thanks Tulowitz, and lots of thank yous to each other. Scott, you can also find physical USB port blocking, like the link that Scott posted. Okay. Yeah, epoxy is really good for that. It's a little on the permanent side. Jam, okay, I'll look into that, Scott. Good. Mark this. I'm at 244. I volunteered at my local library's IT area for a few years. That'll help. Absolutely. Ill-defined. I'll definitely check out the link on Discord. Good. How do you apply? I was also a total IT noob as recently as January 19. They start. Thanks, Scott. I find that hard to believe, Andrew. Andrew, if you were a total noob at 2019, given what you know now, that the hacking, the pen testing, the programming, the networking, the A+ stuff, you have absorbed a tremendous amount of knowledge and information in a very short time. Kudos to you. You were a gamer, though, as I recall before that, and that does give you a little more insight into some of the inner workings of things. Jeremy Parker, okay, you have a domain, awesome, that sounds good. Yeah, it's very easy to do. Did I do an episode on that? No, I've done it here. I've considered doing an episode. I've done pieces of episodes on it, but never soup to nuts. Or maybe I have. All right, almost at the end here, 247. I was indeed a noob, he says. I was reading on Security Plus book to disable USB ports if they are not in use to reduce the attack surface. You know, what is your attack surface? Do people get hold of your laptop that you're concerned with? Do you have family members that you don't want them to break into your computer and copy stuff to a flash drive? Are you just leaving it open in the school library? No, okay, those very different animals, right? So not every security control, thank you, is necessary in every computer. It's all part of risk analysis, right? Are your USB ports, is your computer via USB ports at risk? And is it an acceptable risk, or do you have to do this? Okay. Okay, I am caught up on questions. Let me get caught up on my notes. So last week, where we been? We explored performance monitoring commands and utilities. You know what? There are people out there who watch this show. Kudos, thank you. Keep watching, and then do their own shindig based on what I do. I'm honored. I think that's awesome. So one of the ones that I spent some time on here, somebody wrote starting about the day after an article on that and posted it on Linux 9 to 5. or they didn't post on Linux 9 to 5. Linux 9 to 5 is an aggregator, but somebody wrote it and Linux 9 to 5 picked that up and advertised it. So cool. That was systtag, syststat. There it is, syststat. We also, last Friday after the show, did a kind of a secondary show, a get together over on the unofficial Discord channel. We got together with cameras and mics and had an online costume party. That was also a contest. Winner got a Raspberry Pi kit. Second and third place got some kits, or got some swag. Let me share with you just a couple of those pictures because they're cool. So I turned up. I know some of these are a little rough because I had to expand them in size and bit, but if you don't recognize it, I have a full outfit on here. This is Pops Racer aging a little gracefully. He didn't have a beard and it was all black hair, but his hat, the stripes here and there, and the gray slacks and the black belt and the Italian boots and the black gloves, and love that stuff. This, for those of you who don't know her and see her regularly, is Patricia Grace, who came. I got another picture, a better one of her a little farther down, who made a Dave Rush mask and a Hawaiian shirt mask. It was awesome. Thank you. Tullowit, for those of you who haven't seen him, if you haven't come and joined us on the Discord channel, do it. You can see everybody face to face. Tullowit is a chef in a former life before he became an IT guru and a human intelligence expert in the military, a very broad background. So he broke out his chef gear. It was a quick grab of, I couldn't get everything. Scott in minstrel garb. That's Scott Jernigan. Those of you who haven't run into him. And a lovely post, and he played a little bit for us. And here is Andrew Hutz, who's gone, he's gone medieval on us, at least partial. And be impressed. He created this chainmail. Sorry, brain farted on. I'm brain farting on the word for the piece of garb you're wearing. I apologize. You'll post it. This is Jason, who went Guy Fawkes. A coif. Thank you very much. Or some people call it a coif. So this is Jason. He turned up as Guy Fawkes. It's a costume that he wears fairly regularly. And I thought that was really kind of appropriate today, because today is the anniversary that Guy Fawkes's plot, F-A-U-X, was foiled. So I'm not going to do the history of Guy Fawkes here for you. Look it up if you're curious or interested. There's a better picture of Patricia Grace as, I think she called herself Dave Rush 2 for that stream. Awesome costume for everybody. Wait a minute, I missed one. I missed one. Andre didn't turn up in that list. Hang on. Sorry, it's gone. I'm not going to try and bring it back up again, but Andre was in there and there was other stuff. And Andre was the winner. So don't know why his thing didn't show up, but there it goes. Okay, so that's what we did last week. We did performance monitoring and measuring with various utilities, and then got together on Discord afterward. What we're doing this week? Well, 2 weeks ago, we installed Retropie. It's an arcade game emulator made to run on a Raspberry Pi. And because of time issues for the following week, namely with the costume party, we held off part 2 until today. So today we're going to install and use the games on it. You know what? It's really, really simple. The trick is there are so many ways to do these really simple things. It's 2 steps. And in fact, you can even do it with 1 step. So I won't drag this out too hard. This week, our project is to complete our Retropie by learning how to install game ROMs. Okay, we can call them games, you can call them ROMs, because back in the day when we were using those old console programs, you didn't buy a file or download a file. You got a cartridge that had a memory chip in it, a read-only memory chip, not like today's RAMs. It's like your BIOS chip in large part. So it had the game programmed in there, and you would slot this cartridge into those old console games, and it would read the program out of the ROM into its RAM and run it. So lots of people have extracted those programs from the ROMs and saved them as files on the net and some of them are downloadable. All of them are downloadable. The question is whether or not there's a copyright issue, and I'm going to leave that research to you. That's interesting. As I change here, my background darkens and lightens. Ooh. All right, so there's all kinds of ways, and I'm going to show you one or two of them, and I'm going to tell you about 3 or 4 of them. Remember, if it all goes too fast, just download my archive documents from pyrsquare.zapto.org. I'll repost that in the chat feed just because I have it here in convenient. Back channel guys don't have to do that. Dave's document server. Archive document. Let's go crazy here. All right. So you can download those documents and extract them, extract the big Word document. No, it's a PDF file. It's got my show notes in it. You'll see it. News, tricks, and techniques of the week. I got a notice on Tuesday from element.com that said, this was a stunner. Let's go back into history. A month or so ago, I ordered a Raspberry Pi 4 8 gig model, and they took my order. And then they sent a note, which I actually knew was coming. It wasn't a shock, that we're out of stock. There's a supply shortage. We expect to receive them in January. And then this past Tuesday, still October? Yeah, it was still October. Now, it was right at the beginning of November. They said, hey, good news. We got them in stock. Expect to see shipping information soon. We've just charged your credit card. Okay. Yesterday, my friends, yesterday. I don't know if you can see it because of the focus issue, but that little white box in there says 8 gigabyte. So I got an 8 gig Raspberry Pi, and people have asked me in the past, what can you do with it? And I did some simple research and came up with short answers. But now that I got one, I went and did serious research. So what can I do with this thing? Run multiple VMs, make RAM disks, run multiple web and database servers. The more RAM means the more simultaneous users, and it becomes possible to cache all your web pages and databases in RAM. Here's one I hadn't thought of that's really obvious when you think about it. More RAM improves video and audio editing speed. I can open up more browser tabs. Ask Scott about that. Scott's got 50, 60, 140 browser tabs open at any given moment, at least when he's at his office. Of course, we can run more simultaneous apps. 64-bit OSs will run better. You can run 64-bit OSs on 4 gigs, but they will run better. And by the way, you can run 32-bit gigs on 32-bit OSs on Linux systems with more than 4 gigs. That limitation, that 4 gig limitation, is a Microsoft operating system imposed limitation. If your CPU, if your computer supports more than 4 gigs of RAM, other operating systems can access it. AI computing, artificial intelligence computing, needs more RAM. It works better. Edge computing, visual analytics, as if you're doing facial recognition and other kinds of optical recognition, more memory, better. Image processing, compiling large programs, big C or C++ code. More Docker clusters. You can make huge numbers of Docker clusters with more RAM. So we're going to do something fun with it. One thing that lots of RAM does not help is Retropie. Retropie works just as good on a 1 gig machine as it does on a 2 or a 4 or an 8. Why? Because the program itself isn't very big, and the game that you run, they are very small. They don't take, and you can only run 1 game at a time on Retropie. So 1 gig works just great. Another area, if you're running virtualized and emulation environments like Box86 and Wine, right? If you're trying to run Windows programs on your Linux box, on your Raspberry Pi, 8 gigs will definitely improve performance on that. All right. Reading my notes here, getting past. There were no old unanswered questions. My friends of show plug back channel, if you guys would be kind enough to post the 3 friends of show. I'll put the slide up. There it is. So we got folks on here, and if you are one of them and haven't given me your information yet, do so, and I will gladly promote your shareable information out there. We've got some folks here who publish blogs, and they are friends of our show, so we're very happy to share that information with you. I see Scott posting them to the YouTube chat feed. Andrew Hutz has a security-oriented blog, tgasec.wordpress. Tullowit does videos of slices of life in Hawaii. Time for a new one, bud. You'll have to pause this one. I'm not going to read it to you. It's case sensitive. Andrew, would you be so kind as to post those? They're in the at the beginning of the back channel link for today's stuff. Thanks. And Elbow, who hasn't been here or on Discord for a little while, does a channel where he does reviews of inexpensive, easy for me to say, hardware and software. All right, almost there. Notes. They went over here. Okay, so we are ready to start this week's project, pretty much on the hour. That's a good thing. It's not going to take us more than about 30-40 minutes. We're going to pick up where we left off 2 weeks ago. We installed and updated Retropie. The installation itself is very quick. There's about 3 different updates that you have to do. You got to update Raspberry Pi, you got to update Retropie stuff, and it's another piece of update, the Retropie script, which that one goes pretty quick, but the other 2 take a long time. And again, what I do, if you're this is the first time you ever installed Raspberry Pi, set aside 4 to 6 hours. You don't have to babysit the entire 4 to 6 hours, but you are going to have to do the first part. And then you start this update and you go away for an hour, hour and a half. And then you come back and you start another update and you go by. But after about a half day, it will be installed and ready to rock, except it's not ready to rock because, as I said, there's no games that come as part of Retropie. You need to add them yourself after the fact. And the reason that there are no games there is because I suspect, this isn't posted, that Retropie, the folks who make and support it, never know what's going to get copyright claim. There are definitely some companies out there who wrote games for old consoles who have released them into the public domain. I've got a link or 2 to show you those. You can download those. There are other places that have not well defined, but apparently downloadable things that aren't copyright claimed. And there are definitely places where people are doing their own ROM extractions and posting them without permission. I'm going to leave that to you to research and get safe games. I've got one that I'm installed and it'll be cool here. I'm using a tutorial. Andrew or Scott, would you please post the link to the tutorial? And I'm going to put the screenshot of it up. This is a tutorial that's a soup to nuts tutorial. Sorry, I'm looking down. Stand by. There's what I'm looking for. Retropie install tutorial. Share it like this. So this is a soup to nuts tutorial. Starts with how to burn your micro SD card all the way through how to use and delete games and everything in between. So I used a different tutorial. I didn't use a different, I used a conglomeration of information that I gathered over months to create last week's 2 weeks ago presentation. Thank you, Andrew. Posted this link at 3:03 on the YouTube chat. And then I was doing a lot of fighting and figuring out how to get the games in. I ran across this thing. It had the information that I wanted and a lot more than I wanted. The person who wrote this has a whole bunch of tutorials on a lot of different topics. This is part of a 3-part tutorial that he wrote. And I extracted some of that information. I'm using some of it. Some of it I've changed. Some of it I've updated. Some of it I'm not going to use. We have just enough. I'm going to cover just enough to get you to know what you need to know. So it's over at raspberrytips.com, called Retropie Beginner's Guide with dashes between the words. And there you have it. I believe, okay, I haven't used everything on that thing because we still got a voucher contest that we got to do. Okay, so there's one notable flaw in his tutorial. If you download my documents and follow from that. The flaw is fixed when you have a break. Okay. I tell you what, I'm being called out. So let me fix something here. The Andre's costume needs to be seen. The problem, I'm going to show this to you. I think I know what happened. I think it didn't get copied into the folder where I changed the size of everything. So the image that I'm going to show you, I suspect, is going to be, excuse me, very small. And I'll zoom it up a little bit. Okay, it's here. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. I got to look through these. There's me and Patricia and, oh, was that Andre? Did I shoot right past it? Yes. Okay, let me zoom that. All right, now let me bring this up. We share screen. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, and Andre de Goyert, he is in here. I saw him online today, and this is the costume. This was the winning costume for the Raspberry Pi kit. It's a Raspberry Pi 4, I think it's a 2 gig model. And we had a lot of fun talking about this costume and the time and effort that he put into it. So many kudos. And Patricia put a tremendous amount of time and effort into hers as well. It was a tough call as to who was going to be the winner. But Andre, you nailed it. That was an awesome costume. Many thanks, bud. Hope that helps. All right, finishing up here. So there was one major flaw in the tutorial that we're borrowing facts from here. And that's at some point in here, we're going to install a management utility that's web accessible. It's a little web server that's going to go in your Raspberry Pi. And he says that it's operating on port 8080. And when I did the experiments with this thing and I tried to hit 8080, it didn't work. And well, okay, the thing didn't work, the install didn't work, whatever. And I just abandoned it. But then last night I said, nah, I got to figure out what's going on here. And it turned out he posted the wrong port that I was listening to. Maybe an install that he did used a different port at that time. Maybe it's a typo because he used a common alternate port. I don't know what it was, but it's going to be port 8000. So if you use his tutorial and you see a reference to accessing a web page on port 8080, just change it to 8000 and you're good to go. Okay, the other thing about today's show is I am very uncomfortable with using any of the utilities that I found that will let me show you real time the screen, but I've got stills taken of some of the critical stuff, but I'm afraid that my system will crash and it will lose time as I reset up. So just follow the instructions. This is all done, almost all done on command line and by pictures for the rest of it. And you'll be able to figure it out from my documents if you need this thing. So if we pick up from where we left off last time, we did the first boot. And if you had your game controller plugged into it, I had a game controller. I had this game controller, and it only has 4, 8, 12 buttons. It's not an only, but modern game controllers have many more buttons and joysticks and things like that. And I wasn't able to use this very effectively. I couldn't get the menus and things like that. So I went on to eBay and I found these knockoff Xbox style controllers. I bought a pair of them for 17 bucks and they just work like a champ. In fact, I bought another pair this week because I'm gifting a Retropie to some people, some Retropies to people this year, and going to give them these with it. So if you boot this with your controller plugged in, it's going to take you to a configuration screen at some point that says, all right, press the button that does this. And it'll say right shoulder and left shoulder and this button and that button. When I bought that controller, it came with a document that defined what every button is if it has a different label than other things. So for instance, there's a lot of controllers out there that have labels on their buttons A, B, X, and Y. This labels that same set of buttons as 1, 2, 3, 4. So I had to go find out which was X and which was Y so I could use it in a normal configuration. And this, of course, was downloadable from the eBay page where I bought them. But you're going to want to map to your thing. And then it'll say, okay, press the X button, click, and it moves you to the next menu, press the Y button, and so forth. If you have a controller that does not have a hot button on there, you can bypass that menu. There are ways to fake the hot button. I'll show you what I mean when we get that far. If you get a box that has a function that's not supported by your controller, pick any button you want and just hold it down until it says, okay, that feature skips and moves to the next one. So this is all first boot stuff, or the first time you plug in your controller. It happens automatically. All right, and then once you configure all the keys, you're going to press whatever button is equivalent to the OK button. And there'll be a menu down at the bottom that says click X or click Y or click A for OK. Let's see, in my case, it was A, the A button. All right, now let me see if I can bring up some pictures here. You know, I'm going to show you all this picture gallery, and then we'll come back and visit them as we have to. You can access your Retropie once it's installed via SSH. So use PuTTY or use the SSH client in your Mac or your Windows machine. And this is what it looks like when you log in and connect. You got to know the IP address of your Pi, which you can find out when you're installing it, or you can use a program like Nmap or Angry IP Scanner or Advanced IP Scanner, scan your network, and you'll find out what it is. Use your SSH client, connect to it, and it uses, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, Raspberry Pi OS as its underlying OS, and it even uses the same default account, Pi, lowercase, and the default password for Pi, Raspberry, all lowercase. And this is the screen that you'll see when you first connect. We'll bring this up again in a couple of minutes in real time. And there's the close-up of my controller. Can flip the analog button and make these things analog, can unclick it, and then they become digital. This is the Retropie control menu. This is what you're going to come up to until you install your first game. After you install your first game, a different first menu will come up. So here you can go and control, set up your audio features. If you've got a Bluetooth game controller, you can configure it there. It's all pretty common sense. This will take you to regular good old fashioned Raspberry config to update Raspberry Pi OS. And a lot of these are cool to experiment. A lot of them are advanced. Here's where you can see your IP address. You can get to that if you're using your regular monitor and keyboard, which of course you've got to do because you can't play Retropie across a remote network. Change your screens, configure your Wi-Fi, whatever. And then down here, this shows you which keys will perform what function when you're using Retropie. This is the screen that you're going to see after you install your first game. This will come up initially. You can get to that other screen by using, in my case, the start button. That'll take me to the menu. You can fire up a screensaver, pick a random game if you have multiple games installed. Select your, right now there's only 2 things that are selectable. I got 1 game installed in the Atari 7800 emulator, and then the other thing, the Retropie, that's the menu that we were just in. If you click that, you'll find yourself here. When I go, if I go select Atari 7800 from this menu, it will show me all the installed games. You can see that it says down here, 1 game is available. I select this thing. It's highlighted. It's in the middle of my screen. So I select it with the A button and it says, okay, here's the 1 game that you have installed. If there were 10 games, I would see them all listed. And that was a little washed out. I took these all with a cell phone camera. There's Miss Pac-Man doing her thing. I got a little better image there. Chowing down. And there are submenus that you can get into, change your joystick, change your settings, change multiplayer. And here was a way that I had to figure out how to get out of the thing, but I read later this week, that there are easier, better ways. But there was a wacky keystroke combo that gets you to this menu, and you can resume, you can restart games, but there's a better way. In your Pi, under your home folder, right? /home/Pi, a folder structure gets built when you install Retropie. One of the folders that gets built is called Retropie, and underneath there is a folder called ROMs. And these are all the subfolders that exist by default under ROMs. These correspond to many common console packages. So to install a game is really, really simple. You download a ROM. You're going to download it to any computer that you can use to contact this computer. Do it with a Windows machine where you can make an SSH connection, same for a Mac machine. You could use a browser on your Raspberry Pi machine itself. It's all kinds of methods. Just download a ROM to some computer and then copy it from that computer any way you can. You can put it on a flash drive and plug it into your Raspberry Pi and copy it from the flash drive into the appropriate console. So when you download, in this instance, I downloaded from a site that had game ROMs for Atari 7800s. I downloaded it. Most game ROMs, when you download them, are zipped. So you download it, you unzip it, and then you copy the unzipped file. It's usually just one file into this folder, in this case, the Atari 7800 folder, and you're done. And now all you have to do is get the game system, the emulator system, to restart or reboot the computer, reboot your Pi. Okay, that was questions that we used in Mike's show last week. We're not using them here this week, so that's it. Screen sharing is shop. Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's all we're going to do today. All we have to do is set up the management, excuse me, web server and find ways to copy files into, to get ROMs and then copy them into that folder structure under Home, Pi, Retropie. Remember, it's case sensitive. It's capital R, capital P. And then the ROMs and then the appropriate ROM folder. All right, so going, digging in my notes here, show your IP. This is explaining some of the options we saw. All right, download games. So you're going to use a computer that's got a browser on it. You can install one on your Retropie. That's a little bit of a pain in the butt. It's a lot easier to use a browser on a Windows machine, another Linux machine, a Mac machine, whatever, and go to one of the common websites. Now, I'm going to give you two of them right now. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, I didn't copy these into my anything that's usable. So here, I'm going to type into the YouTube tap screen two links on two different lines. One is MAMEDEV. This is I don't know if it's HTTPS or HTTP, but whatever, it'll redirect you to the appropriate one. mamedev.org/ROMs. .org/ROMs. Did they put an HTTP in my notes here? I can do this. It's HTTPS. So let's go ahead and be complete just for fun. HTTPS://. All right. So that's one place where you can get ROMs from. And this is a really good place because purportedly all of the ROMs there, all the game ROMs, are legal. And then here's another one that also makes the same claim. It's called romhustler.net, ROMHUS. All right, I'll put it in. Is that an HTTPS? And then I'm going to show you that site. Is that a com or an org? I forgot. Net, none of the above. All right, so there's two good sources for you to get game ROMs. Now, let me take you over to ROM Hustler. Yeah. I opened this page before. Oh, there it is. Okay. And then we share. All right. So this is romhustler.org. And when you go to their main page, they let you select a whole bunch of different console types. I went down into the Atari 7800 and found a list of games that that can be downloaded from. Let's go back from here. Can I go back? Is it going back? There we go. Okay, so found Miss Pac-Man on here. Click here to download this ROM. And when you download it, it downloads it as a zip file. Unzip it, and off we go. But I'm ahead of myself here. I got to show you the other thing first. So unshare that. But the process, now you know, to put in a game is really, really, really simple. Download a game ROM, unzip it if it's zipped, copy it into the appropriate folder under your home folder in your Retropie, under Whack Home, Whack Pie, Whack Retropie, Whack ROMs. Let me fire up. I'll stay ahead of myself here while I'm doing this. I'm going to kick up Putty because I like Putty. You could use SSH because it's built into Windows, and there's an SSH terminal session built into Mac. How am I doing on time here? 21. Great. I'm going to be done in 12 minutes. 192.168.1.105. Enter. All right, now we'll share this and we'll log in together. All right, so I'm going to log in as Pi. Really, I am. Password is Raspberry, RASPBERRY. And there's one we took a screenshot of earlier. So I'm in my home folder. I know that because I see the little tilde here. I can confirm it by typing in the command print working directory or present working directory. Lots of people call it go either way. We'll clear this screen and we'll do an LS. So two folders got set up here when I installed Raspberry Pi. One has all the setup and programs and features in there. And there's a really powerful and useful one that you should know about. So let's pop in there and just do a quick reminder of what's there. CD capital. I got cords in my way, sorry. There we go. Retro Pi dash setup. Enter. And we do LS. And this program, Retropie _ setup.shell, this is how you can control and configure everything in your Retropie except installing games. That has to be done through another method. So we looked at this guy 2 weeks ago. I'm going to show you this again because our next step includes running this. And you have to run this with sudo. So we're going to say sudo, this is all lowercase, Retropie _ setup.sh. Fine. .whack. And it goes buzz, 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 grind, grind, grind. And now let me go back to my notes so I don't manually skip a step here. What we're going to do next is install the web server that allows you to manage this thing. It's called the Retropie Manager. I just want to find it in my notes where it is. I know how to do this, but I don't want to miss a step. I do that sometimes. Once you've downloaded. Did I delete that? Short answer, main dev. Okay, fine. We'll just do it. So we go down into configuration /tools. And then we're going to go down and find Retropie Manager. There it is. So I use up and down keys to manage the upper menu. I use left and right keys to manage the lower menu. So when I want to OK what I've got highlighted in the upper menu, I use left and right over the OK. I got the top menu highlighted that I want. It's a web-based manager for Retropie files and configurations. So I hit the enter key on OK. And it's going to, one of the options is gone, which was install Retropie Manager, because I've already done it. So you'll do that. And then you're going to come back to this menu and you're going to want to enable Retropie Manager on boot. So you'll always be able to get to it with a web server. And then the final thing, if you don't want to do a reboot after this, you can okay start Retropie Manager now. And it happens in lickety split and it's all done. Mine's already running. It'll whine if I do that. So now I'm going to bail out of here, cancel out of that, go back out of here, exit out of here. You have completed with that step 1 of 2. So let's go see what that gets us. Got to go to my management or go to my web browser. There it is. I'm already, come here, you. Wrong page. Over here. There we go. Okay, give you something to share. So if you open up a browser tab on any computer in your network and you go to the IP address of your Retropie, :8000, you'll find yourself here. And this is a graphical way to do just about everything in those text menus. So we don't need to putty or SSH into most things. And in fact, you can even use this to install ROMs. What you would do is you would download a ROM file to this computer. And then you go over here to manage ROM files for emulated systems. Do take your time. There we go. Okay, did you download it for a 7800? Yes, I did. All right, then we'll open up the 7800 file. And then you click in here to drag and drop, or you can drag and drop from down here. But if you didn't put it in some place where it knows how to figure it out, now you just browse for it. I don't remember where I put it, doesn't matter. But you'll pick it, the name will turn up in here. And then you okay it. There will be an okay menu that pops down here and it'll copy it over to that folder. So now you've got a game in the folder. I'm going to show you a couple other ways to put games in those folders. And then the last thing to show you is just how to fire up your system to detect those games. One of them is reboot. You can just reboot Retropie and any new ROMs that you've installed will turn up in that startup menu. Another method is to restart the system either with a PuTTY connection and an SSH connection, or one of the menus in here. I don't remember which one. Read and edit, auto start in the script, read and edit, monitor system. It's in there somewhere. Oh, config, BIOS, ROMs, logs. Get the idea. I'm not going to dive through that. It's simple stuff. All right, method number 2 for installing a ROM. Let's actually do one. I didn't plan this, but I'm good on time here. It's only going to take 2 or 3 minutes. And so I'm going to go back to the download thing. We'll follow the whole process here. Let me share this with you. We'll pick another game and pick it for another console. That'll change my system around. You're not going to say, okay, we'll find one for an Atari Lynx system. Okay, so here's some games. There's regular Pac-Man on this one, and Pitfall and Asteroids. I love Asteroids. And apparently this version, it's not a version, it's the real thing, has a good rating. So I'm going to click it. Got to remember that this was an Atari 2600. And I'm going to click here to download it. Click here to start it. All right, it's going to save it here. It's a RAR file. It's kind of like a zip file. So we'll save that. And it goes buzz, 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 grind, grind, grind. It's done. Unshare that. And now, what have I got here? I'm going to go unzip it. It'll take me more time to share screens with you. So just bear with me for a second while I unzip asteroids. I need my file manager here because it's got a RAR system in there. Dropbox, downloads, right click asteroids as a RAR file. Use 7-zip, extract files. No, I don't want to do it there. I want to do it here. 7-zip, extract to the asteroids folder. Okay, good. There's one file in there. Now that I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to open up command line and I'll share my command line world with you. Open Windows terminal here. Okay, that's what we're going to share. There we go. Okay, so I've extracted a file into a folder. I'm an idiot. Huh. I don't know where I extracted that to. Stand by. I really bungled that somehow. Open in folder. I know I did that in the right place. Show in folder. Downloads, asteroids. All right, let's try this again. Open in Windows terminal. Wow. Okay. Something funky has happened. And I'm not clear what it is. That's what happens when I don't do this in advance, right? Oh, I hate PowerShell sometimes. I really do. Let me exit out of here and do command line. I'm looking at it. It's invisible. I don't know why. All right, forget it. So we'll do some pretending. I'll take you to the folder where I know is legit. And I've used it before. What did you just do? Get out of here. Asteroids. Why won't you open? Whatever, who cares? Sorry, I'm looking for something. I got a missing file that I don't understand. Miss Pac-Man? Okay, there's the Miss Pac-Man RAR. Find the folder. Okay. All right, there's the folder for it. Okay, we are where we need to be. Now I can share this with you. And there's a little bit of a challenge, but that's the nature of this beast. So it's a lot easier to do what I'm about to do using that Retropie Manager and the graphical interface. But I do want to show you this other method. So I'm in the command line right now, and I've showed you this command once a long time ago. Here's the folder, or I'm in the folder that's got the extracted ROM. Here's an extracted ROM. It's called miss.space pacman, blah, blah, blah. And all I'm going to have to do is use the secure copy program. If you have an SSH server running on your Retropie, and you do, that's a default, To copy a file from any other computer over to there, you use the secure copy command. It's built into Windows, it's built into Mac. And let's say there was 500 files in here and I just want to copy this one file that's a .a78 file. Okay. And then you specify where you want to send it to. I want to send it to a server using the account pi. So I'm going to say pi colon, and then the IP address of my Retropie server, 192.168.1.105 colon, and then the path to the folder where I want this thing to wind up at. I can shortcut it and start by saying tilde. That means whack home, whack pi. And then I could say retropie /roms. And let's fake this thing. Let's put it in the wrong folder. I'm going to say Atari 2600. Now I got to go look and see if that's capital or lowercase. Stand by one momento. Oh, you're a fool, but you can fix it. That's okay. Stand by. Retropie. Okay, there we go. File structure. And the Atari 2600. Everything is lowercase. I never paid close attention to that. No spaces here. So it's Atari 2600 lowercase. Finish this up. Retropie ROMs ATARI 2600. And I don't have to do a /dot. So we're all set. SCP, start at that. And it says, okay, you're going to connect to a server at this IP address using the account called pi when I hit the enter key. And no such host is known. Did I typo that? Goodness gracious. Some days you just can't win. (192.168.1.105). All right, it's there. So I typoed something simple. SCP star.a78 to pi at, not colon, that's what happened, 192.168.1.105 colon, path to the ROMs, Retropie ROMs, Atari 2600. Bam. Okay. Give me the password for the Pi account on that server. It's Raspberry, RASPBERRY. And I typoed the path. We'll pretend it worked. How's that? I won't pretend it worked. I gotta know. I gotta know. Let me putty over there real quick. 192.168.1.105 Pi Raspberry Retropie RETRO capital Pi ROMs there's Atari 2600. All right, let's see what kind of dumb typo I made. SCP start at 78 pi at there. Let's use the whole path. Oh, there was a missing E on here. It's Retropie. Pi. Nope. Raspberry. I may have typoed that. There we go. It worked. You can't mess up in Linux, man. No missing letters, no nothing. All right, I'm done with that thing. I have a game in the Atari 2600 folder. It won't work there because it was designed for an Atari 7800, but it'll turn up in the menus. So that'll be cool. Close that of you. All right. The next and final step is to restart your system. Now, what I haven't had a chance to tell you about is there are 3 systems running on your Retropie. You've got Raspberry Pi operating system. You have the Retropie system, which is the menu and management for Retropie. And then you have the interface for the user, which is called Emulation Station. And Emulation Station reads the stuff that Retropie gets and presents it to you. Now, here's where I'm stuck. I can't show you this because I can't show you the real-time stuff, but I'm going to take you back to an image and show you what happens in the instructions, because I'm running short of time and I want to do a contest. So forgive me for not walking you step by step through everything coming up here, but you're done. I would suggest to you that at this point, if you didn't want to read my documents, just power off and power on your Retropie, or if you're in a menu where you can quit and reboot, cool bananas. When it comes up, Emulation Station is going to boot up. It's going to look through all of those folders for any that have contents, and it's going to bring up a menu for them. So let me entertain you with, I don't know, one of these. This one, okay, I'll share that. So the next time you boot up or next time you restart, they call it restart system. You can also do it just by restarting the Emulation Station. It's available through all the menus. It will come up and you'll see Atari 7800. You'll see on this banner Atari 2600, and Retropie will be on here. And you just right and left arrow with your square selectable things to pick the game console that you want. You OK it with the select button. And then you'll see the game that was in there, regular Pac-Man. And at that point, you just use this guy, arrow down to select your game, hit your select button to OK it, and off you go, or the start button. And then you can experiment with some of your keys. Some of them are a little different than the original controller buttons might have been. Some of them didn't have those kind of controllers, but that's it. It's much easier than it seems. So what did we do? We did 2 things. We enabled the Retropie Manager, which is a web server listening on port 8000. And then you can access it and upload ROMs from there. Then we copied ROMs into a ROM folder. You can do that with the Retropie Manager. You can do it with SCP. You can set up the ROMs folder as a Samba share and access it like a network drive. You could set up an FTP server over there and copy from that. You could set up a browser on there and download directly into the machine and just copy them into the right folder. You could copy games to a flash drive, plug the flash drive into your Retropie and copy files from there. The whole point is get a ROM file, get it extracted. It'll usually be A78s in the ones that I've experimented with, and copy them into the folder and restart your system and you're gaming. Very simple. All right, sorry about the boo-boos, but you've got the points that you need. So let's move on. It's a quick question. I'm going to take a quick look at Q&As for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to get into a contest. And Andre, if you like, I will email you back that picture that I have of you, so you'll have it. Yes, Andre's costume totally rocked. All right, moving on here, passing 253. I'm just speeding past questions. We've got something really important, repost it, and I'll look at questions at the end when we're done with the contest, and we'll close things down. Got all my Sec Plus tests tomorrow, Xerxes78. Good luck, buddy. At this point, relax, right? It's tomorrow. There's not much you're going to learn new. Thank you. Thank you. He says, reading quickly. Working on next video. Very good. Andrew Hutz has posted all the friend of show links. Wishful thinking, JM. Okay, yep. Scott pinged me. We took care of that here, and we'll take care of it elsewhere. Ping, it has such a nice look to it. It really does. Dave's afraid to show his scores. Yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of games, and I haven't had a chance to play with hardly any of them because I found Miss Pac-Man. I've been playing Miss Pac-Man all the time. All right, I'm caught up on questions. So let's talk costume contest. That's what I'm saying. Really? Come on, you. There, that'll do it. All right, I am going to hold a contest for a Comptia voucher, good anywhere in the world that Comptia offers tests, Pearson VUE sites or whatever country is contracting to do them in your country of choice. Good for any Comptia exam except CYSA. The winner, I'm going to put what the winner has to do up right now. Back channel, would you guys put the that said that what voucher winners have to do up on the link? And that way you'll be able to get it now. If we run a little short on time, we have 15 minutes. We're not going to run short, but I just want to make sure it's up there now. I will post this again after the contest and we know who the winner is. And Scott, if you would do me a favor, when the winner is determined, just post his name in the back channel so I don't have to go backtrack and find it and update my files of who I need to be in touch with. Or Andrew, thanks guys, appreciate that. So the trick, I believe that just got posted. Let's see. No, not yet. Okay, Scott will do that. Thank you, sir. So the key here is if you're the winner, you're going to send an email to me with the information that's listed here. There it goes. Scott just put that in on the YouTube chat at present time, 46 minutes past hour number 2. And Andrew posted it. Somebody posted it. It's posted all over the place. Okay. The contest rules. No previous winners of vouchers. If you want other things, you are welcome to participate. We're trying to make this fair as we can as far as the contest goes and as fair as we can so that everybody has a chance to kind of share in the benefits of getting a free voucher here. We make it as fair as possible. I use random numbers. I'll use a random number generator and I'll use a contest based on that. I'm human. I make mistakes, of course, seldom. But once I announce the winner, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, if I made a mistake, that's the winner. No do-overs, no appeal process. All right, I'm using a pseudo random number generator to generate a random number today. I got a typo there. I can fix this. Today's random number is going to be between 256 and 512 inclusive. So anything from and including 256 and 512, you're going to put in a number that falls in between there. My pseudo random number generator has determined a number. I ran it this morning and I have it written down here in my handy dandy notes. And it's going to be closest to, without going over, the number that my system has selected. And so with no further ado, you may begin typing in your random guess, a number between 256 and 512. We'll give that a minute or so for people to post in, and I'm going to look at something whilst you do that. Whilst, I love that word, whilst. So what do we got? How many contestants do we got playing today? 19 people, okay? 3 of them are Total Seminars employees, so we can't play, and there's a couple winners in here, not too many. So it's a good number of players. I like that. Oh, good. I see lots of good numbers going in. Okay, I'll get that after the contest back channel. Thank you. And Scott, I'm going to put the number on the back channel so you can help me find the closest to without going over. Okay, that number is posted. You found my typo, you jerk. I realized just as I put this up, we're going to have a winner here. We have a couple winners. Oh, man. So I take my document at the beginning at of the day, and I save it, and I pull the stuff out that doesn't need to be shared, and I think I left the random number generation in there. So somebody who's found my document, unless you just guessed, pure guess, and kudos to you, but I see somebody who got that number dead bloody on. So I'm going to close up guessers here. Holy Hannah. And let me see if there's anybody who got it before the one I saw. You don't see a number, huh? Oh, it's because I didn't hit the send button. There it is. All right. So you'll look down the list and you'll see somebody got a dead match. And I'm going to want a note from you, Avanut. If you got it because I accidentally included it in my archive notes, or if you just pure guessed it, but the number was 366. Yeah, holy Hannah. Scott, I will not need help figuring out who won that one. Avanut, congratulations. You have won this. Let me go update my page since I've got this up and running here. Voucher winners. Voucher winners submitted. There we go. It's over here on 11/5. The winner is Avanut. All right, I'll just leave it at that, close that, and I'll go mess with the other paperwork later. Congratulations, Avanut. There's a lot of close people here. 333 and 336 were going to be very close. 375 would have just been over. You guys were good. This was a lot of close guesses. Apologies if I gave it away. Next week I'll be more careful. And or again, Avanut, let me know, was that because I accidentally misposted it, or did you just throw in 366 and manage to hit it dead on? Because bloody kudos to you, man. That's awesome. All right, so Avanut, I'm going to post up a the guys are going to post up the what to do. Again, I'm going to post up the slide on how to do that. Unofficial voucher winner. And this is what you need to do. Please do this before you go to bed tonight. And I will send this along with all the other ones first thing in the morning to the nice. He threw it in and hit it. Holy Hannah, raw guess. Congratulations, man. That's just awesome and incredible. Okay, I got to share this. And good. We still got 8 minutes to go. We got questions. We got answers. All right. So, Avanut, you are the voucher winner. You're going to send an email to me at daveR@totalsem.com. You're going to include in that your YouTube name is Avanut. So I'll know that. And then you're going to give me your real name, first and last. Your real email address, include it in the body of the email. Don't let me take it off of the header, because there are sometimes problems with that. Include your real email address. Specify exactly which exam you want to take. Don't say A+, don't say Core 1, don't say Security Plus. You can say those things, but I also need to see 220-1001 or SY0601 or whatever the course exam number is. What country that you're going to take the exam in, and if the country is the US, you must also include the state. These are all of the hoops that Comptia makes us jump through. If I send them anything less than this list, they'll say, contact them again and get the rest of the missing info. So, okay, that's the case. Congratulations, Avanut. That's outstanding. And that it was a pure guess. Makes me feel great because I really didn't want to have made that mistake. Who knows? I may have made it. But and Patricia, you were brilliant throwing it in after the fact, because you never know who pops up first in the list because of the way the YouTube CDNs work. So I would have done that too. Way to go. Okay, there were questions that need to be answered before we close things down. 15:54. I got 6 minutes. At 3:46, let me just pop over there before answers started popping, or around the time answers started popping. Let's see, this came from Wayfaring Stranger. 346, there it is. Can you run Tor on Raspberry Pi? Well, the question is, are you asking, can you run a Tor server, or can you run a Tor client? And the answer is both. Yes, there are Tor servers and there are Tor clients that run just fine on Raspberry Pi. A couple notes that I want to finish up before I check any last questions. It looks like I'm okay on questions. First three digits of an old phone number. You should play the lottery tonight, my friend. That's great. Okay, note. I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but not everybody was here. Daylight savings time starts in Texas this weekend. And so if you have, sorry, we lose daylight savings time and switch to standard time. If you're in a place that falls back with me, then it'll be same time next week. And same for Mike's shows. If you are in a place that doesn't change times this week, then we're going to be an hour later for you than usual. See, I can't do those two things. They are both time consuming. I have a plan for next week's show. It's part of a two-parter, and I need to make sure that doing part two works. I mean, I know it works. It's whether or not it works as a presentation. So we'll see what happens for next week. Mike's show on next week's regular show. Expect Scott to be there. Okay, Discord links and the AMA specials. Scott just reposted at 54 minutes past the hour. Thank you, Scott. And okay, let me just set this up and then we'll get these last questions out of the way and wind things up for the day. I may do next week's show, whether or not I'm sure we can do part two, just because it's interesting and has some potential use for it. So let me slide this guy over here, let that thing cut up. And last question, I'm just looking over. Did you really include it on your notes real quick? I may have, I don't know. I'm going to double check when I'm done here. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to take them out if I did, because the contest is now over. I was shocked that someone guessed a specific number. Man, that was just utterly shocking. I've never seen that, but that's great. And I don't mind that we use the small range and it's very guessable because we don't have that many people here. So super impressive. And yes, a very close second place. That's true. Okay, specials are posted at 3:54. The Discord link, I'll be on Discord about 10 to 15 minutes after the show here is done. I haven't had a major day. Glad to hear it. Now we will all check your notes before the show. Yeah, that's exactly what I envisioned when I smacked my head and saw that. Woo, that was fun. Okay, Tellwood's got to go. Friend just arrived. Take care. It was meant to be. Hey guys, I had a good time. We'll shut down 3 minutes early here today, 2 minutes early, whatever it takes. Let me find this thing. There it goes. What happens if I do that? That's what happens. That's a cool thing. Hey, I hope you had a good time this week. I hope you played Retropie. It's a little scattershot. I'm sorry, and I should have practiced this stuff before, but it's very, very easy to figure out. And you've done enough stuff with me that you know how to transfer things to Raspberry Pis. And if you don't, if you've got Retropie going and you're stuck, send me an email, contact me on Discord, whatever. I'll talk you through whatever method works best for you based on what you have. So we can have a lot of fun with that. Oh my. Notes over here. There we go. I got a couple, in my archive notes, there is a much fuller document than I went through today. I cut off my presentation on purpose at a particular point, but there's a lot more information in there. Please use that and enjoy it. And he's got some other methods and some easy methods to copy files too. So that'll help, I'm sure. I also posted links to 2 sites. And I want to mention them right now because I got a minute to kill still. One of them is called 10 Interesting and Fun Facts About Linux. It's exactly what they are. And there's some really neat things. For instance, I'll give you one. Tux, right? You know, Linux is always associated with a penguin. Well, that penguin has a name, and the name is Tux. And there was a contest to find out the name. The prevailing winner for a long time was the Penguin. Thank you. But they changed it to Tux because somebody said, wait a minute, Linus Torvalds wrote it, and he wrote it based on Linux or Unix. So T and UX made it Tux. Okay, got to run. See you later, Andrew. And I'll be shutting down here in about 45 seconds, just about done here. The other thing is a little news blurb. I posted this on Discord, I don't know, yesterday, maybe today, but there's the full link for it in here. Blender. If you've played with Blender, it's an online 3D motion creation utility. Well, about 1,000 people got together and created a movie. They do this all the time. They've made about 10 movies out of these things. This one is new and special. It's the latest one. I think it's called Sprite Fright, and it's a 10.5-minute movie. And when you look at the credits in the end, there's quite literally about 1,000 names, give or take. And this movie was created with Blender as the core tool, but every other tool that they used is 100% open source. It's a proof of concept. You can create good movies. This looks like a Pixar movie with completely open source. You need a big crowd to do a lot of this stuff, or a highly trained group of pros. All right, I'm done with that. We're a couple seconds late. It's time for me to wind things up. So as always, my thanks to Mike Myers for the time to do this. Michael Smyer in the background, Scott Jernigan and Andrew Hutz in the background. They come to participate. All of you who come to participate, really enjoy your company and your appreciation. I am Dave Rush. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars and resident Pi specialist. I wish you a great weekend. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. Call or visit your parents and the rest of your family, and never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. And with that, good night. I'll see you in Discord in a few minutes and at the AMAs next week. Until then, I am out of here.